And welcome everybody to my weekly reflection. Once again, coming to you live from a very cold Bloomington, Illinois. Has gotten quite cold once again after being mm, somewhat warm last week and the week before. But yeah, had all good things come to an end, and we are back to what was it yesterday? Like 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Quite cold. Now I should be back. Hopefully more stable. I did not expect that because last weekend I was just on the school Wi-Fi. I did not need my hotspot, and went fine. It went very smooth. I was surprised. I thought, like, oh yeah, I finally upgraded the Wi-Fi, but nope, nope. We're back to square one. So that sucks, and it started to lag again. Hopefully that's okay. That's I don't know. That's weird. Are we even live? Let's see if we are live. I see that we have one viewer on, yes, Global Productions on my YouTube channel. Yes, hello from freezing Jonesboro, Tennessee. Yes, hello, welcome. Tennessee, yeah, that's in the mountains. Yeah, it's always going to be cold, but it's on the west side of the mountains. That's where the cold usually lies. If you cross the mountains into North Carolina, that's where you get the warmth. It's where the warmth usually. Sometimes the cold crosses over as well, but it's rare. That's why I like North Carolina better. Anyway, so yeah, I would say that's good. Okay, we should be good now. Okay, let me put my phone on the bed behind me so that it's not in the dead spot here, and it should be good for the rest of the stream. Um, Hopefully, like I said, that's weird. I did not expect that to mess up again. Um, Anyways, so yesterday, what did I do yesterday? Yesterday, I invited all the people once again. Sent the around 1,000 what are they called? Invites, and yeah, and it was interesting because I started doing it like the day before my live streams. Possibly it sometimes it leads to more people showing up. Not always, but so I thought, but I still get the same. It's funny because I sent it yesterday at 7 p.m. or around there, and it still got, what is it, 27 attendees and 3 reposts, like it always gets from Derek Espadas and James Eber. Shout out to those two. Thank you for reposting. And yeah, so 27 attendees, and usually it gets around 30. Even if I send out those invites at on a Wednesday or something like that, right? So it doesn't even make a difference. But I figure that the closer to the event it is, and the higher chance of someone comes in, the higher the chance of someone coming in. And so I also wanted to say that there was an interesting post that went viral on LinkedIn. I actually had to make a short about, and it was from, actually, yeah, let me search it up here. Let's see. Okay, it was about Google trying to go behind um, a mom's back, and like Google emailed her like 12, almost 13-year-old son that he was like almost eligible to change his like settings, and then like the parental control, mess with that a little bit. And let's see. So she wrote a post about that and said, it's not good, obviously. Let's see here. Oh yeah, here it is. Let me show it. Let me show it to you. Activity and share. Okay. So her name is Melissa McKay, and yeah, she said they directly contacted her child, and they were almost old. That he was almost old enough to graduate from parental supervision. And the email explains how a child can remove those controls themselves without parental consent or involvement. The kid is, 12, okay, and they're going to email the kid that he is now eligible to step away from parental control. She's yeah, she said grooming for engagement, grooming for data, grooming minors for profit. Yeah, so it's technically grooming, because they didn't let her know, right? They just emailed the kid and did not let her know that they did. It's really weird. And yeah, so 7,000. They got 7,000 likes. Yeah, I guess engagements, whatever. Um, and that's viral, I would say, on LinkedIn. And so yeah, so that's what I made a video on. I'll show it to you here, because then I shared it also on my LinkedIn. I tagged her in there, and actually reached out to her, to see if it was okay to mention her in that. Oh, I'm not even visible. Shoot, just realized. Of course, the layout always resets for some reason. There I am. I'm actually half covered by that stupid caption. Anyways, yeah. So then I shared it on thing and on LinkedIn, and then before that we had a little bit of a conversation, and she said she'd be honored if I tagged her, and that I basically agreed with her and thanked her for bringing attention to that matter, because nobody I've seen sorry, I've never seen anybody, because this has been Google's practice, I would be assuming, for years. And, it's kind of surprising that she's the only person until now to bring, attention to this, right? So it's crazy. It's, uh, it's interesting that it happens to so many people, but so many parents, I guess, are just not involved. I guess that could be an explanation. And, yeah, so that's also an issue. When parents aren't involved, they don't know what their kids are consuming online, and it's just a big problem. And then I made that video about it, so let me show it to you here. I was actually surprised, because this video had some amazing analytics, and it only got pushed to around 1,500 impressions. And I thought it would get like crazy impressions, because it had a great retention rate. Out of a 30-second video, people watched like 90%, which is great, which is amazing. And the amount of people who stayed to watch was like 70%, and it was climbing even with viewers, right? So I was expecting that they would have like some sort of a breakthrough, but surprisingly not at all. And I'll show it now, and let me know what you think, because it was just baffling to me. Anyways, here we go. Share this tab instead. Should be sharing that. Yes, we are. Okay. So let's play it now. Your kids are also Google's. A couple of days ago, a woman made a viral post saying that Google emailed her 12-year-old child that since he was almost 13, he would be able to remove parental restrictions. This practice of Google co-parenting kids has been going on for years unnoticed. And just one day after this post was made, Google announced that going forward, they will not send such an email without the parent's permission. So yeah, they removed it, but only after viral backlash, which makes me wonder how many other companies have been doing such shady things quietly. Subscribe to my channel and tell me in the comments, what do you think of Google trying to be a third parent for kids? Yeah, so that's what I said about that. And I believe with those other companies, a lot of companies obviously have like parental control restrictions. Apple and Microsoft, I believe in ChatGPT and Character AI and all this stuff. So they do have parental controls, but if the kid can just gets email, oh yeah, you can disable them yourself, and we're not even gonna let your parent know, then that just invites conflict, and that's not necessarily good. Some conflict, of course. It's going to be my newest video, actually, on my Global Productions YouTube channel. I finished recording yesterday, and it'll be out today. It's another kind of a long form. It's going to be like 5.5 minutes, and yeah, it's going to be about how AI is basically not destroying conflict. I was going to say destroying conflict. It's not destroying conflict. It's destroying conflict resolution skills, and it's making disagreement just feel, personal, hostile. Disagreement just doesn't feel uh, natural, normal. Sure, uncomfortable, but it should feel normal. But it doesn't no longer because well, it does not anymore because of AI and how it changes behavior patterns, right? How AI just never disagrees with people, and especially kids and teens who use AI, then they will disagree less. Well, they will avoid disagreement, they will avoid conflicts, but and if they do that, then that's a problem because conflict is just it happens all the time, and if there's conflict avoidance, then that's just a major developmental issue. So that's fine. That's what my next long form is going to be about. And back to parental controls. If the kid can just disable that, and not knowing stuff like that, and the parent not knowing, then that's a major issue. That's it's pretty bad. Hello, Derek. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing? Good morning, good morning. And yeah, so like I was saying, it's parents just have to know what their kids are consuming online. Let's see, let's see. Let me just put myself back up, if I may. How do I do this? Well, I can do this, but I just I should just do that. Yeah. Okay, here I'm back. So what else do I want? Yeah, I think Microsoft actually has some sort of it's a little bit different what they have because they do. I remember like there was an email that I got sent because I was in my like dad's family or whatever on Microsoft, and it was like, oh yeah, he's gonna be a certain age. I forgot what age it was, 13, 14, or 15. I forgot exactly what age, but something like that. And he just said, like it got sent to both of us though. It got sent to both the kid and the parent, not just the kid, because it's kind of shady. That's kind of shady, like just sending it to the child and like, oh yeah, you can actually just disable parental controls, and we're not even gonna let your mom or dad know. So it's not a good practice. Thankfully, they did reverse that, but it's very likely just to save face, and especially like with the how they said it. It was like, oh yeah, like we had this plan for some time to actually already like get rid of that because we knew it was a bad policy. It was just somebody just made a post about it, so we decided to implement it earlier. Yeah, right. Bullshit. Just BS. It's just corporate speak for oh yeah, we did we had no clue about this, or maybe they had clue, and they did want this. It was kind of a feature. It was planned, and then they got caught in it, and then they just tried to save face. So it's all BS. They're always going to try to BS you. But let me show you these statistics because they are quite interesting. Share this tab instead. So yeah, only 1.5K is impressions, not views, by the way. Stay to watch, 70.9 percent of people. Usually it's around. My usual videos get around 50. Okay, so that's like way higher than that. And then average view duration out of 30 seconds, it actually went down to 25. Okay, so average view duration, that's the only thing that went down. It was actually, I think, yeah, it was 24, I believe, and actually then it went up. See, it actually is pretty consistent. That's great. That's pretty cool. So, but, there's a big but. Usually when you see something like this, right, something like this, and then something like this, the 25 second out of 30 seconds, it's a perfect mix for a viral video, right? And it just never materialized. And also, what shocked me, the amount of like interactions. I want to show this. It's probably gonna be easier if I just show it on the channel content page. Blah, blah, blah. Wait, here it is. 54 likes and only 1 dislike. Okay, and that's what surprised me because it had a great amount of likes and stuff like that. Even with this one, that got 147 likes. Star Trek Wars about AI addiction had 147 likes, and that was like from 3,000 views total engaged views. Because I don't count that, but to compare it to this, it had 900, so that would be 3 times more. it was around the same, and it had even it had a lot of engagement too, the comments and all this stuff. And like yesterday, well, that's not yesterday, it's 2 days ago, and then this one also got about around the same. It's funny actually, 1.4 thousand, 1.4 thousand, 1.5 thousand, and then 63 like zero dislikes. Now that's like an amazing margin. I don't think I've ever seen uh, like a perfect margin like that. That's crazy. But then that actually had a little bit less, I believe. I was not expecting this one to go as high, but still, it got what was it, 60%, which is fine, and then just only like 21-second view duration. But the amount of engagement and stuff like that was so crazy. So always figuring it out, always trying to learn something new, I guess. Um, the view duration and how viewers engage with the state to watch is matters the most. Engagement matters less, I suppose, except for maybe subscribers and comments. I'm really not sure how the YouTube algorithm works right now. And anyways, doesn't really pay off to study it that much, especially not like a full-time job, because it changes every couple of weeks to months actually. So and then it resets, and then you're like just classifies video as completely as something completely different, and yeah, you just have to restudy it, and it's permanent adjusting, right? But it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't pay off to study it all the freaking time. What is going on here? Comments. Okay, kids are adults at 18. Until then, you must go through parents for every legal step. Yeah, I guess they didn't see it as a legal step, because it is within their platform, their policy. They're not really telling the kid to break the law or anything, not necessarily, but just the fact that they are going behind a parent's back. I guess you could actually. I'm just always thinking about this. I guess you could say that they did, because there are laws on, kids on online platforms, social media, all this stuff, and especially when parental controls are involved, then the law should just be stricter. Like if parental controls are involved, then you know the kid can't just go ahead and disable it on his own at once he reaches 13. It's not like some magical immaterial autonomy just suddenly appears out of nowhere, and now the kid can make all his own decisions at 13. Right? It's not normal. For myself, I did have basically unrestricted access to the internet since I was, geez, I don't know, 9. But at the same time, I mostly knew where what to do, what not to do. I was mostly just on like YouTube, right, just watching stuff like that, and sometimes on the internet at large. But at the same time, like I said, I was responsible. Some kids just aren't. I also bumped into my own troubles when I was that age. Around, what was I? When did I get my first laptop? I got it at, I was 10 or 11, I believe, something like that. I swear, yeah, probably 10. When I was like 10, I got my first laptop, and yeah, I did. I just love to. Not gonna create anything, but I love to play games, and I like to sometimes download them off the internet, and sometimes that just involved stuff like fake download buttons and all that stuff. When you're 10 or 11, you don't think about it. You just click the nearest download button, and suddenly you have 10 Trojans on your computer. So yes, I did learn the hard way of internet of how to avoid viruses and stuff like that. After that, it got cleaned up. The computer got cleaned up. Thankfully, I was never locked out. The computer wasn't necessarily ruined, but yeah, I had to learn that lesson. And yeah, so I did. But many kids just don't have involved parents or something like that. Let's see. Okay, unless you live in China, of course. Yeah, that's a different thing. Federal laws, state laws are using a law about social media that allows kids to log on at 13, but that is a stretch of that law. Yeah, of course, it's always usually a stretch, because there's in Washington, you always have these, you always have these lobbies, and they always lobby for it to be vague, just vague enough so that they can stretch it. They need as many users as they can independently so that they can, shove ads up their butts all the time. So they just make their revenue off of that. And then if I set up parental controls, it is not up to tech companies to decide when they can remove them without my knowledge. Yeah. Well, it's not the tech companies. Again, technically, it's all these technicalities. It's technically not the tech companies who are removing it. It's actually, the kid is making an autonomous decision when they can remove it, and the company just nudges them just enough so that they can get over that threshold. But again, like I said, it's still all shady. It doesn't change anything. It's just they can avoid penalties, and they can avoid the law with all these loopholes, technicalities, and it's like you know it's lame. But at the same time, what are you going to do? They just have a powerful lobby in Washington, all these tech companies, and they have plenty of money to go around. So yeah, not going to see much. Not going to see much change anytime soon, unless enough. Unless enough people get mad, because politicians never want to lose their office, no matter what office they hold, no matter what political party they're from. And yeah, so when people get mad, then that overrides even money, because not, you can't pay someone enough money for them to lose their office in Congress, because that makes them lose power, and they cannot afford to lose that. So they will always side with the people, but the people have to get organized, and they have to get mad at something. So that's the main key to that there. And if not enough people get mad, then it's never going to get changed, because money overrides everything in politics except people. And so here we go. Kid can't make a legal decision at 13. Period. Yeah, that's kind of what it boils down to. But again, ask Washington what they think about that. Most of them are 60, 70, 80. They barely even know what AI is. They have a very basic knowledge of what AI is. These people cannot regulate AI in good faith and knowledgeably enough, right? They might have they have experts, sure, but they can invite any expert, an expert on AI that can tell them, oh yeah, AI is actually good for everything, and we don't have to have any concerns about it. An AI sponsored by somebody, an expert is sponsored by somebody, some company. It always works like that. That's politics, and politics is messy. I don't really necessarily want to get into all of that, especially partisan politics. But I'm not, especially, yeah, I'm not getting into that at all. But politics can get that messy, and it's better not to get into that, because the more you talk about it, the more time you're basically just wasting, because again, nothing is going to get changed at the end of the day, unless again you organize. But you have to get a lot of people to get mad over that. And here we go. So, and I did want to show. Let's see. I did want to show. We got 3 viewers on YouTube. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. And let's see. Okay, minimize myself. And now let's see. LG Major TV into. Well, it's a smart TV. It's not necessarily all TVs, but it's smart TVs, and it's LG. We still got a pretty good viewership. So let's see it. Oh gosh. And here we go again. The median age of voting members of the House of Representatives is now 57 and yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem, because the only people truly knowledgeable are younger people, and because they work with it every day, and there's not enough of them in Congress. Clearly, 57 and a half is ridiculous. So I even talked to some old people, and they're like, oh yeah, the old people need to get the F out of Congress, because they just don't know they just don't know anything about how anything in the modern world works, and that's what most of policymaking is about nowadays. Just tech, modern stuff, all that stuff with, for example, the Patriot Act, right? We're still stuck on that. The new Senate's median age is 64.7 years. Yeah, that's even crazier. But it does kind of make sense because I believe you need to be a little bit of a higher age to become a senator. But at the same time, it's was 30. I think you can be a representative at 25, and then a senator at 30, president at 35. I believe it's those are the ages. But still, that's way higher than 65.3 is way higher than 30, obviously. So shouldn't be like that, But people just don't care enough to usually vote party line. Nobody ever votes for the truly best candidate, and usually there isn't a truly best candidate. It's usually just selecting from better evil. That's what it boils down to. The choice is always the same, and no matter what, presidential, federal, state, local, all that stuff, it always boils down to just the better of two evils. Younger people and me, that's true. The average member of Congress considers email to be high tech. No, they consider fax to be high tech. You don't even know that. It's funny. Because fax is still used highly in some airports. I heard about it. Well, it was a couple of years ago. I hope they updated it now. But they still use like what was it? While in like Europe or whatever, they already were like using some extremely high tech stuff in for air traffic control. Here in the U.S., I forgot exactly what the thing was, but it was like instead of digital, it was still analog. It was stuff from like the 80s in air control, air traffic control. It's just ridiculous. Again, and they consider that high tech. Lesser of two evils. There you go. That's what I meant to say. Just looking for that word. Anyways, so that's an issue. But I wanted to show this for a second. Let's see this video, and I want to here share this tab instead, and then here we go. LG made your TV into Big Brother. Yes, you heard that right. Microsoft took its AI service Copilot, shoved it into LG Smart TVs, and made it uninstallable. And tried to guess what that app does. It surveils, does market research, basically spies on you, which many customers did not like, especially because of the fact that it was not removable. So then the LG tech team came to the rescue, and they fixed it by only making the shortcut icon removable, meaning that they didn't actually fix anything because even if you remove the shortcut icon, the app is still running in the background. Subscribe to my channel, let me know in the comments, what do you think of this newest LG Smart TV change? Yeah, so if you have an LG Smart TV, I would beware. Although there is something that I didn't mention in the video that I learned later, because there was like a statement made by the company, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it was only a shortcut to get to a website or whatever, or something like that. It was not an actual app on the TV, but still, it's a background process that's constantly running because it has to always be ready to go to that website, and especially if you activate it only once, then guess what? Then it's always running in the background, and it doesn't matter. Companies and the government will always find a way to get into your phones and get into your devices in general. So, they're always listening. They're always listening. That's my most favorite. Quote. It's actually from I think it's from World War II, because they said you got to be quiet, right? Always don't say anything to anybody about, especially like confidential stuff, because the enemy is always listening. So that's still relevant to this day. They're always listening. So no matter where you are, no matter who you are, if you have your phone on you, always. It was only the line that spies on you in the background. Only the line. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But yeah, it was funny because at the same time, if it was just so innocuous as a shortcut to a website, why would you make it unremovable? Why would you not let people remove it if they don't want to have it on their dashboard or whatever? It doesn't make really enough sense. So yeah, so watch out. Big Brother is always here. Big Brother is always watching. And on that note, actually, we have reached our 30-minute time. Let's see, stop screen sharing. Let me stop this message. Okay. Well, yes, we have reached our 30-minute time. So just want to thank everybody for commenting, and those who joined, those who reposted, to You know, oh, the line to LG, except show this last one. The line to LG, except today every single mobile device. Uh, the line to LG, except today every single mobile device a door ring can listens. Worst of all are Alexas. Yes, of course. Yeah, that's a big problem, especially in today's world of AI. Because if you use voice recognition for basically anything, then AI you're giving them a permission, because you never read the fine print, right? But usually there's some like, they can replicate your voice without well, you consent to that, so it's not like really without your consent. You gave them consent for thousands of things, and one of them happens to be replicating your voice through AI and stuff like that, synthetic services. So yeah, just be careful. And yeah, like I said, that's what I'm gonna end on today. So yeah, like I said, I want to thank everybody. If you made it this far, then thank you very much for being a loyal viewer, subscriber, or follower on LinkedIn, wherever you are. And yeah, I'll be back next Sunday once again, same thing. And just gotta go now because I'll gotta have a meeting with a club at school here. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be heading to. That's where I'm gonna be heading now. And yeah, so until next Sunday, same time, same place. Once again, uh, 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern, and yeah, I guess see you then. Thank you very much for watching once again, and have a great rest of your day. Have a blessed Sunday. Bye.